Hello, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Joshablon, and welcome back to another Speedpaint. So, while I was streaming last week, I was streaming my Megumin Speedpaint, and so I received a comment, and someone wanted me to do a Soketto Speedpaint, and so here we are. So, for those of you who don't know who Soketto is, I don't blame you. I had no clue who it was, and I had to look it up in the middle of a stream. And pretty well, it is from Konosuba, just like Megumin. However, I don't think that she's actually popped up in any of the media that's come out. So, I mean, of course, other than the manga. The manga has gotten significantly longer than the anime. I mean, it's based off of it, or the anime is based off the manga, so of course there's more material there. Konosuba, it's split into 2 seasons so far and 1 movie. And so I don't believe that in any we see Soketto. However, I have seen some nice anime-looking Soketto pictures, as you can see by the reference picture that I'm using over to the left. And so I'm assuming that she probably pops up just kind of in the background of a scene or two when she is in the Konosuba movie. However, I'm not entirely 100% sure about that. Yeah, but anyways, I thought that it would be a pretty good drawing. And in the end, I was quite happy with how it turned out. So, I tried a couple different things. I've been wanting to improve on my art, and one big thing that I've noticed in my art compared to other people's art, who I particularly look up to in the kind of anime community, would be that I don't have as detailed of hair as other people. And so that is why in this one I'm drawing so many more little tendrils of hair, and I'm focusing so much more on that. And that's just because I haven't been entirely happy with the hair that I've done in the past, and so yeah, I'm trying to make it a lot better. And that'll probably be a constant thing, so for all of my other videos in the future, I'm probably going to be trying to make the hair more and more detailed and to just look better and better. And I'm testing around with styles of hair, specifically with shading styles. I wasn't too happy with the style that I used later on in the video, but yeah, I'll eventually work out some style that works. So you'll also notice that in a minute or so, it's just randomly going to skip ahead, and I'll have finished the entire good copy of my outline, and I'll have everything colored and everything, and I'll be just about to start the shading. And yeah, so I streamed on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. For Thursday, or wait, no, I didn't stream on Thursday. Never mind about that. I streamed on Friday and Saturday. On Friday, I was doing all the good line work, and I did all the coloring, and then on Saturday, I went forward and I did all the shading. However, for a solid 2 hours on my Friday stream, I forgot to hit the record button, so unfortunately, all of that footage is lost. And so, it randomly skips forward in time, and you get pretty well a fully colored Soketto image with the line work all finished and everything. So yeah, that's why there's the sudden leap, so I do apologize for that, but yeah, hopefully it shouldn't be too big a problem at all. So I was quite happy with a couple of the bits of the shading, specifically just the stomach area. I think that shading worked absolutely phenomenally, and I do understand that it looks like it's getting into immodest territory. I mean, if you look at Soketto's outfit, I'm not really sure what I was supposed to do with that. I could have given her a more modest outfit, but I wanted to stick more to the original so that I was actually drawing a recognizable character. I didn't want to just go and draw a character that like absolutely no one would know. I mean, that's what would happen if I changed her outfit. So I decided to just kind of stick with her outfit that she had, deal with the little bit of immodesty, and yeah, I mean, I don't think it'll be too big an issue at all. So, if you have a problem with that, then stop having a problem with that, please. I was also a lot happier with the hands in this particular one. I had a little bit of trouble figuring out where her right hand would be. that's not the hand on the right of the screen, but the hand on her right. Yeah, I had a little bit of trouble figuring out what I wanted to do with that. In the end, I just had it kind of going behind the head because that follows the natural way that the arm is. And I would have had to change the whole angle that the arm is out and all that to make it go across her face, doing kind of the signature Crimson Demon kind of flashy hand motion. Yeah, I don't even know how to explain that, but yeah. I was quite happy with how they turned out. I think the outline could have been a little bit stronger, but in the end, I think that the shading was pretty good. It looks like a hand, you get the idea, and yeah. I think the face shading turned out quite well, and then the shading that I was really surprised with was the fabric shading on her skirt. So I've been messing around a whole bunch with the lighting and whatnot, and I came up with something that I was happy with. But then what I did is I started messing around with what the layer type was, and I changed it from just a plain old normal layer to an overlay layer, and it made it look so much better and so much more realistic, and so I was really, really impressed with that, and it made me just kind of learn about a brand new style of doing things. So yeah, I was very, very happy with how it turned out, and I'm excited to use it more in the future. And I did that with a couple other layers. I think I did that with some of the purple shading, but yeah. Now, when drawing the breasts, I wasn't exactly content with how they turned out. I don't think that I conveyed the right fabric type. I mean, it almost looks like she is like a rubber top. I mean, I was going for just more of just a cotton cloth kind of thing, but I think it turned more of almost a rubber because of how smooth the shading was. I think I should have been a little bit more sudden, a little bit more drastic, especially where the light moves to the shadows. But as shown in the picture that I'm using, it is very tight. It's very hugging, which I think is another thing that kind of lends that feeling of being almost a rubber. So yeah, I'm not exactly sure how I would fix that and still have it be so tight-fitting, because that's how the character is. So I didn't want to go ahead and change that a whole bunch. So I've been a lot more careful in this drawing to just pay attention to the tiny details. I noticed that in my Megumin drawing that I missed one or two things. I think that on the bottom of her dress, I missed these little triangle markings, and so there was that. It was a little bit unfortunate. Wasn't the happiest with that, but in the end, I moved on. I mean, what's done is done. I'm not going to go back and fix my old drawings. But with Soketto, it made me pay particular attention to the little details on her. So I made sure not to miss any of the yellow highlights that are on her. So on most of her purple garb, she has these yellow lines that'll pop up. She has it on her skirt, she has it on her, just her collar, and I find that it just makes her a whole lot more interesting to look at. I mean, instead of just having clothes that are purple and black and whatnot, it has these nice yellow highlights, and it just kind of draws your eye to them. So I was really happy with how that turned out. So for the hair, I have to say I wasn't the absolute happiest with how it turned out. It definitely wasn't the best style. I changed styles kind of halfway through. The first style I just didn't think was working, so I just went around with a light watercolor brush and started going everywhere with the shadow and whatnot. I think what I really should have done was just focus on general hues that go throughout the hair, and then do very, very strong highlights just on the backs of each hair where her shadow would be laying. So I feel that it wasn't quite as good as it could have been. So yeah, I mean, I'll probably fix this in later drawings, but for now, I mean, it was acceptable. It just looks a little bit flimsy, a little bit messy, and yeah, not the happiest with how it turned out, but I guess it suits the function of this, and it matches the style of a little of some of the other parts. I mean, especially for the chest area on her, I feel that it would have looked weird if I had done that very stark, that very dramatic shading on the hair with high contrast. I feel that would have looked weird compared to the chest area, for example, or even the skirt area. I mean, when going for a little bit more of a realistic drawing, you can, like, it always looks a little bit weird if you add some cartoony shading to it. So next were the eyes, and I was actually super happy with how the eyes turned out this time. I'm not normally happy with my eyes. I feel that they need a little bit of work, but in this, I was really happy with how they turned out. So I used a couple different methods in this. So I just kind of had a general gradation of shades that slowly changed, and I felt that looked really nice. And then on top of that, just adding one nice, like, deep, dramatic color just at the very bottom. I felt that was great. Drawing a line around just in the middle of the outside of the eye and the pupil, I felt has been just a real help in what I've been doing, and so I did that. And then what I did is I follow a particular streamer, and what they do is they put a whole bunch of reflections just kind of at the top of the eye. They don't necessarily make sense, but they add a little bit of intrigue to it. So I went forward and I did that, and I was actually really happy with how it turned out. So yeah. Thank you everybody so much for watching. Please leave a like on this video if you enjoyed it, and feel free to subscribe so you don't miss my next speed paint. And next week, we will be moving on probably to another Konosuba character, but I'm not entirely sure. But do leave a comment down below on what you would like me to draw in the future, and I will get to it eventually. So yeah, thank you again, and in the next video, probably another Konosuba character. So see you then.